Hello, this is Malorian, and this will be a 2,500 point game of my Dwarves up against some Warriors of Chaos. Alright, so in this game I'll be playing against a guy I've never played against before, and he has a pretty interesting army. His first unit there is 24 Warriors of Chaos. They have the Mark of Corn, they have halberds, they have shields, and a full command. So they're pretty scary, but it only gets even bigger from there, because his next unit is 12 Knights, and Chaos Knights, and they have the Mark of Tzeentch, they have the Blast Standard, and full command. So very scary, and I can't really use shooting to take them down. The next unit, so with these little Jug Knights here, these Juggernaut Knights, Skull Crushers, whatever they're supposed to be. Of course, last game I had 6 of them really make trouble for me. Well, now I'm up against 8 of them, and there's also a BSB mounted on a Juggernaut in there too, so that's going to be fairly scary. And then finally he has a level 4 Lord Tzeentch who's on a disc, and he had a whole bunch of magic stuff. So he had a 5+ ward, +1 spell, +1 magic dice. He also knew something from the Lore of Death. Just a whole bunch of magic things. So really a very small, compact army. On my side, I'm going to be trying something different. I got my Dwarfs here, but I changed it up a little bit to get more models on the board. So usually I take a lot more runes, but I cut a lot of them out. Starting off from the left, I got my Rune Lord who's on an anvil, and all he has is a shield and basically a Dispel Scroll. Normally I take a Master Rune of Balance, cut it out. Then I have 40 warriors with shields and banner, a cannon, which I don't even think I made flaming, a grudge thrower that has +2 strength, and then I cut out the rune of accuracy, so that's all it has. 20 Corlers, organ gun, 40 great weapon warriors with banner, and then there's my BSB with 1+ save and +1 strength. Then another organ gun, 20 Thunderers with shields, and then finally 20 miners with a champ that has a steam drill. So that's pretty much it, and the big thing when this is going on is there's a really good chance he's going to be getting the first turn because, you know, he has a smaller army, and I was really worried about this because, of course, his army is so fast, he can get on me, and even if I look at one of these units and say, you know what, my shooting can decimate that unit, the problem is that there's 3 of them, and the other problem is that that statement doesn't even really apply to the Knights. So what my plan was originally was that his Knights were closer to the left board edge when he was just placing units down. And if you remember me from saying before, usually where people place down units is where they're also going to deploy them. But he moved them more to the back. So what I'm going to need to do is try and hopefully get my miners into them. Luckily, I'll tell you right now, I did win the first turn, so maybe I can do that. But otherwise, what I'm really hoping to do is when those Juggernauts come up, I'm going to feed them the Thunderers, then I'm going to flank them with my great weapons because they have, you know, the Mark of Corn, so they have to overrun. And then the warriors on the left, basically just shoot the hell out of them and then try and flank them with the big warrior unit after. But the big thing that I don't know what's going to happen with is those Knights, and they can really make a mess of things. Plus that level 4 can always make things a mess too. And, by the way, this is just a regular game, 12-inch deployment, blah, blah, blah. And like I said, this army, or this unit here, is going to be the really scary one. He also has he has a kind of a mix of models in here. He has some of the demon guys, and then in the front for his command, he's also using these kind of more character models. So it looks pretty cool, and man, I mean, even me hitting them on the flank might not work, because I'm wounding on 4s, hitting on 4s, he still has a 3+ armor. With all of his attacks back, he could actually, you know, do quite a few back to me, and then he just needs to reform, and I'll be toast, so very, very dangerous. So, like I said, I got first turn, but you know what? It really sucked. Basically, a lot of my shooting was out of range. I got to shoot my Corlers, which missed every shot. I got to fire my cannon, which misfired and exploded, and I got to fire my grudge thrower, which misfired and can't shoot next turn either. So, not a good start. The only good thing I can say is that I hit the Knights with the Wrath and Ruin, which even though it didn't do any wounds, at least made it so they'll be just half speed. So, his turn 1, and yeah, this is turn 1. This is not me taking a picture from a different angle. This is all he really does, as he just kind of moves up a tiny bit, and that's really it. And so, really, all I could assume from this is that if he was to move up, his Knights would be left behind, and then I get to throw everything into his Blood Crushers. And so what his plan was maybe is just to be farther back so that I can't really shoot with anything again. I mean, my organ guns will be out of range, and then hopefully next turn rush everything up. So I think that's what he was meaning. He didn't really get anything done with the magic phase because he was too far out too, but that's pretty much it. My turn 2, my miners come in, and I could have gone for the rear charge, but then that would mean he gets 5 knights to attack, so I actually set up for a flank charge, and so really I really need this to work. Right now they're outside of BSB range, so as long as I can beat them and he fluffs his roll, hell, even if I don't catch him, he might trip a few in the woods, and they'll just be out of position. So that's really my hope right now. And at the end of my turn, it looks like this. So as you can see, it did not work out. He killed some of me. I killed one of him, I think. In the end, I won by 2, but he held, and he also passed his test to reform and face me. So, I mean, my miners have gone a little bit wider so I can get more attacks. But, yeah, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble. Otherwise, my shooting did nothing to the warriors, I don't think. But I was able to kill one blood crusher and do a wound to another one, so that's something. And yeah, that's really, at this point, I'm just kind of waiting to see how he comes towards me. His turn then, he doesn't really move up much again, and so what I'm guessing here, I mean, the warriors just barely moved up, the juggernauts just barely moved up as well, so at this point I'm wondering if maybe he was hoping that I'll be too far away to do a move and a flank with my warriors, or maybe he's trying just to lock down the left flank and just kind of hold still while he's going to try and wait for the knights to come around on the right side with the juggernauts. But either way, this is where they end up. As you can see there, my miners got slaughtered. And actually, I could have gotten away. I only rolled a 4, 5 minus 1 being a 4 for my dwarves. But actually, his knights just rolled a 4 as well. So, I could have actually gotten away with dwarves and knights. But no, they're all dead. So there's some points I kind of threw away. And with the magic phase, he killed 3 of my thunderers. But at this point here, I mean, even though he's coming at me really slow, he's the one who's up in points. I'm down a cannon and I'm down a whole unit of miners, so I really got to figure out a way to get some points here. And of course, all these units are pretty hard to get points from because they're so big and strong. My turn 3 then, and it's really just shooting him up. Nothing is really in a position where I want to move it, so really a whole bunch of shooting went into the juggernauts on the right. They turned out to be just in range for both my organ guns, and in the end I'd actually killed enough so I could try going for a character snipe on the BSB, because of course he has so much command in there, but I actually scattered off and missed, and I think I killed a couple of warriors, and I also hit the knights with the anvil so they'll be slower. His turn 3 then, he charges with his juggernauts, and I flee and I get away. Otherwise, his warriors move up a little bit. His knights, I can't remember what he was doing with his knights, but that's pretty much it. His magic phase gets shut down with the thanks of my Dispel Scroll thing, and yeah, that's really his turn 3. My turn 4 then, and so I just really smash into this unit, and now I was able to snipe out the BSB, and it's just down to these 2 models, one of which is wounded. So now I'm not worried about it at all, and I'm pretty sure that, as long as I kill this unit, I'm going to be just fine and catching up in points. And the other big thing I do this turn is I use the anvil to send the warriors into the flank here. So of course, this is Khorne with halberds, and they're going to do some damage, but the big thing is that I'll have so much static res that I hope that if nothing else, if I don't break them, I'll take away their frenzy and maybe grind them down or bring in another unit later. We'll have to see. And so at the end of the turn, it looks like this. So the Corelers, they rallied. The Great Weapon Warriors, they moved up. Yeah, I already said that I went and killed all that stuff from the Juggernauts. And man, look at that combat there. He went first and killed nothing. He only caused 3 wounds on me. I made 2 armor saves and 1 parry. I couldn't believe it. Killed a guy or something back or 2. He broke, and I mean, of course I didn't catch him, but, his banner's gone, his frenzy's gone, and things aren't looking good for him at this point. His side of 4, though, he's finally going to get what he wants, and he charges into these warriors, so, I mean, he'll get to do some killing, but, there's no doubt in my mind that my unit here can deal with him pretty easily. So end of his turn 4 looks like this. My you know, his juggernauts came in, killed 4 of my guys, and in return, you know, I only did 3 wounds to him, so he has 3 3+ saves. He failed them all. So then I just reformed so that my corner to corner is close to the warriors that just rallied here. And otherwise, you know, he went up, tried to do some magic, didn't really do anything, and, you know, his knights are just kind of turning around here. So my turn 5, I didn't know if I'd need the anvil here, but it turned out I didn't. I was able to pull off the charge, so these guys went right in. One of the things he did do with his magic phase is that he made one of his guys into a hero, so I have a challenge there between my BSB and him, but again, I'm pretty certain I'm going to win this combat. So end of my turn 5, I did in fact beat them, broke them, but wasn't able to catch them again. And then with the anvil, I was able to make it so the knights will be slow, and also I was able to kill off his level 4. So yeah, it just gets worse and worse for him. His turn 5, his warriors fail to rally, and his knights just basically turn around. My turn 6, I really just reform the great weapons, so I'll have lots of ranks to be steadfast. The shield warriors move up, and I use the anvil to charge them into the warriors, just to send them off the board. And then his turn 6, he charges in here with the knights, kills a good number of guys. My BSB and his champion are in a challenge where nothing happened, and that's the game. So, victory to the Dwarves, and it was by a good margin, but one of the things that really came up here at the end that kind of stole the victory away is the whole time I didn't know, you know, okay, is he being very careful? He's worried about my organ guns and all this stuff. And what happened and came up, and like I think it was turn 4 or 5, is that, you know, it's been a while since he's played his last game, and he didn't know you could march, you know, so he didn't know that his guys with movement 7 could be going up 14. That's why he was just moving them the 7 up and the 4 up for warriors. He thought that's as fast as they could move. So, you know, in one way I was kind of looking at the game thinking, okay, wow, you know, he was really careful to stay out of my organ gun range, and it's probably because he's trying to swing around the one flank and lock down the left flank, and really all it was a matter that he just didn't know this one critical rule. So, you know, I felt really bad because had I mentioned something at the start of the game, maybe we could have caught it and things would have been different, but you know, either way, he got to come in and kill a few guys. My miners, I mean, man, yeah, those knights just slaughtered my miners. That was pretty crazy, but yeah, I mean, just think, really the way that it could have gone is that his juggernauts could have moved up first turn. It really would have gone the way I kind of guessed, actually. I would have moved up the Thunderers, he would have charged, overrun, I would have put my great weapons into their flank. Who knows what happens there? Probably I win, he gets away and rallies. The warriors, I shoot up, who knows what's going to happen that. And then the big ace or wild card is going to be the knights, where I guess we already know that the miners would fail there. But yeah, I mean, just what a difference that makes. Either way, he had fun. You know, I was kind of worried after that you know, he would be kind of pretty discouraged. We said, oh no, this is great, good to be back in the game, good to learn the rules, and he was also happy and to play against a fully painted army. So that made me feel good, and hope you guys liked it too. Okay, bye.